So his channel was banned over censorship. Gavin McInnes. His channel was banned because of not censorship. I'm sorry. It was copyright claims, copyright strikes on old videos, which is bizarre to me because as someone who posts videos on YouTube, if I ever do have an issue and it's a content problem or a copyright problem, they immediately go with it's a copyright claim, which you're immediately notified by YouTube. And I could only imagine, I think it'd be even worse. I mean, it'd probably be like instant if it's a copyright strike, because a copyright claim is simply a company saying, okay, so you used a music that we own, or whatever the case may be. You use this. Okay, you can still upload this video. You just can't monetize it. You can't make money off it. No harm, no foul. So a copyright strike is saying, we own this now. You didn't listen, or you use something that's blatantly ours, and we're taking it, which immediately sends an alarm to YouTube because they take that stuff very seriously, and that can immediately get rid of your channel. My question is, why did it take this long? Why did it take until after he was fired from Blaze and now? And this, I think, is just a sign of escalation downward, because if you're a fan of Gavin McInnes, I don't know why you're a fan of mine. I don't know why you're listening to this or watching it. But Gavin McInnes created the Proud Boys, and it's a really stupid group. I would say it is a hate group of a bunch of really sad, lonely white people, white men, the Proud Boys, who feel like modern United States, the modern America, doesn't share the values they should. Like, men should be men, and men are not men anymore, and we're too sensitive now, and we should... And honestly, there's underlying things of racism because they go after, they attack minorities, they attack lefties, and all this thing. So they're not good people. And there was some protests in NYC, I want to say a couple months ago, a month or two ago. They got involved in it. They beat some people up. People went to jail. It was a bad, serious situation. So because of all that, Gavin McInnes goes on and says, I'm no longer with them. My hands are clean. I'm stepping down. I'm not with the Proud Boys.
Following statement.
As of today, November 21st, 2018, I'm officially disassociating myself from the Proud Boys. In all capacities, forever, I quit.
Okay, fine. And then there's this merger with CRTV because he had a show on CRTV. Get Off My Lawn. Terrible show. I don't need to watch the whole show to know it's bad. I watched clips and I was like, oh, God. So it'd be different if you were good. You know, there's some conservative pundits that I don't really like, and we'll get to them. I don't like, but they're actually good at their job, and they're actually entertaining. Gavin McInnes is just terrible. So he goes on there and says, I'm not with the Proud Boys. Then Blaze merges with, so Glenn Beck's company merges with Ken Levine, is it? Levin, good Lord. Anyway, CRTV merges with Blaze, and they become Blaze TV, and then they fired Gavin McInnes. And then after that, the YouTube stuff happens. So you see what happens when Google reacts to things? It could be a copyright thing. That's really what they could stick to their guns to. But I just think it's crazy that in a matter of a few days, all this stuff happens. All this goes down. The firing there, then the YouTube stuff. There has to be something else going on with Gavin McInnes. And I just think it's funny because people that defend Alex Jones in their censorship, they're going to start flocking to this idea, and that's going to feed this sort of narrative. And that's the problem that Google runs into, because it's two very vocal, very aggressive, very angry, conservative voices. And either of them probably don't even say they're conservative, but whatever. The point is, they're definitely on the right, the far right. I hate that term. But they're two big conservative voices, and it doesn't help the narrative for Google. And I do think because of the nature of Silicon Valley and the nature of California, that's uber liberal. I mean, pretty much the whole state is liberal, and yes, there's conservatives and liberals everywhere, whatever. The point is, there's a lot. It's a very, very blue state. So then that puts that mentality of, well, Silicon Valley, you're too loud as a conservative. They don't like you. They're going to get rid of you. And that's bothersome. That really is, because I think time and effort could be put into legitimate, dangerous people on the internet that could be taken from the internet. I stand by what I said. Even though the issue with Pizzagate, I think Alex Jones is harmless. I think his sort of rhetoric, I think, is harmless. And I think up until that situation, if you take out the Proud Boys aspect of Gavin McInnes, there is nothing to be worried about. He's just a loud, obnoxious a-hole. There's nothing that could stop him from having a voice. And I think both men deserve a right to talk because my hair's messed up. I adjusted my headphones. Because I am a First Amendment absolutist. I believe that everybody should have a voice. Everybody should have an opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. It could be really bad things, but they deserve that right. And I still believe that. So I think there's an issue there with Google because it seems like people on the right are going to feel attacked and they're going to feel that their voices aren't going to be heard. And, you know, there's this whole controversy about conservatives not getting the right search results, not getting the right Google searches and this, that, and the other thing. I don't believe that because while that was going on, I did a test. I searched Rush Limbaugh, who's a very loud voice for the right that's been there for 30 years. I Googled him. His website was the first thing to pop up. I Googled Hannity. His stuff was the first thing to pop up. I don't see those kind of issues. But I've actually found in an article, and I'll put it in the description down below, but there has to be something wrong with Google's algorithm because you're seeing more people that are more conservative voices have to work around an algorithm and find a way to get their content out there and get their fans the content that they want. So they're appearing on a lot different shows. They're doing different things. You're seeing a lot of them go to moderate type shows. They're going to Dave Rubin, the Rubin Report. They're going to Joe Rogan on his podcast because that's one way they can kind of share their voice. And it's crazy because you see guys like Steven Crowder have to do that. And Steven Crowder has, I think, 3 million subscribers. Guys like Ben Shapiro don't necessarily have to do that because they've done enough on, like TV and things. But there's something I noticed with how they have to do things. You don't see those kind of issues with the Young Turks. You don't see those kind of issues with, Secular Talk or Majority Report. I watch a lot of political stuff on YouTube. I'm weird. But you don't see those kind of – I don't think you see those problems with an algorithm as you would on the right. Now, I could be completely wrong on that assessment, but from what I looked at with the data, it looked like it seemed to be a lot of workaround for someone that's conservative. And I think that's an issue within Google's infrastructure. And I'll get more on their infrastructure problems and their algorithm issues in a little bit. But I want to point out, when we go back to Gavin McInnes and we go back to Alex Jones, I think the biggest reasons they got banned and they got censored, whether or not they really violated the hate speech stuff and whether or not it really was a copyright strike, I think probably the biggest reasons they got in trouble is when you listen to guys like Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson or Hannity or Rush Limbaugh, you've noticed that they're still there, not just because, well, Ben Shapiro, not necessarily traditional media, but not just because they're in traditional media, but they still have a job and they still get advertised and everything because they might say some really questionable stuff. And I don't agree with anything any of these men say. I think they're all political hacks, partisan hacks. But the reason why they still have jobs and the reason why they still work is because they know how to say things in the right way. Never once have you heard any of those guys say, we're going to come after you. We're going to rip you out of your house, and we're going to do some nasty stuff politically. They never say those things. When any of that stuff gets broached, Hannity will say, I don't want anybody to get hurt. This isn't the right way to do things. That's the other thing too. And Rush will say, we'll beat them with, like ideas and whatever. And Shapiro will say the same thing. None of these men will ever actually say the crazy out there stuff that Alex Jones says in a way that says, let's go get these people. And none of them are stupid enough to start the Proud Boys and have the Proud Boys go beat up some people that are protesting something. See, they all have a job, and they're not in the sights of companies like Google or Apple or Facebook because they know how to do their jobs effectively, and they know how to operate their jobs within a world of, we're not going to say something that is very, very offensive and could very much not only hurt us professionally, but can hurt us legally. So when you look at the two that have been in trouble and gotten banned, it's because of the things that they say and how they say them. Whether or not I think that's right what Google did to them, I don't think it is, but I think the big proponent of that is they're just not saying, they're saying some weird, questionable stuff. And I think guys like that still have a job because they're smart and they know how to address these things. I don't know if that's a good way to do business. I don't think it is, but I think that's probably a proponent of it, of how things work. And I think censoring these kind of people with Gavin McInnes and Alex Jones, censoring those two, it does cause problems. It does cause issues. I think mostly because those InfoWars people, they're going to stay with him. They're going to be loyal to Alex Jones. They're not going anywhere. So they're still going to have their space on the internet. And that's a lot of people. That's a big mind share of people that are going to be using, still wanting to be info warriors, as Alex Jones calls them. I'm sorry, I like doing my Alex Jones voice. They're still going to be Proud Boys. And I just think that as crazy and stupid as they are, they should have a voice. And if you really think they are saying as bad of things they do and, causing all these problems, then maybe, just maybe, you should, get somebody involved. Get some sort of police force involved.